no ticket-buying constituency is likely to feel well served by The Foreigner, a chilly marriage of political thriller and latter-day Liam Neeson-style geriatric revenge-o-rama. Neeson, of course, pivoted to the throat-punching game late in his career. Jackie Chan, The Foreigner's top-billed star, has been making action films his entire professional life. As a physical artist, he's of the cinema's all-timers, Buster Keaton and Bruce Lee in one compact, now 63-year-old frame. His athletic gifts have always been buoyed by a warm and likable screen persona. As connoisseurs of the failed-stunt gag reels that used to play under his movies' closing credits can attest, he always hurt himself for real far more than he ever pretended to hurt anyone else. And all for our amusement. Well, there's no gag reel at the end of The Foreigner, and Chan's bright smile is nowhere to be found, not even in the relatively cheerful opening moments when his character's adolescent daughter is still alive. He's due some credit for trying to branch out, I suppose. His co-star Pierce Brosnan stays much closer to his strengths as a philandering Irish deputy minister scrambling to keep his career and his own family alive, in that order. In a scenario adapted by David Marconi from a Stephen Leather novel called, The Chinaman, Chan plays Quan, a Chinese-born soldier who fought for the Americans in Southeast Asia. He now cherishes his quiet life running a small London restaurant and fretting over who's taking his adolescent daughter to a school dance. When she perishes in a bombing by a breakaway faction of the Irish Republican Army, Quan becomes convinced, based on nothing more substantial than a brief TV interview, that Belfast politician Liam Neeson-Brosnan knows who the bombers were. Quan's escalating campaign of phone calls, polite visits, threats, and eventually, ever larger bombs, and not quite lethal traps to make Hennessy give up those names has a slapsticky spy vs. spy quality. My audience was rolling during these scenes, though it clearly isn't meant to be comic. I kept thinking about Jason Schwartzman and Bill Murray's pranks and counter-pranks in Rushmore, a movie that is somehow both more flippant than The Foreigner and more insightful about grief.